Hey, what's happening, family? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back to What They Didn't Teach Us. I have a question. Are you struggling financially, even though you're working extremely hard at your job or in your business? Well, the amount you earn may not be the problem. In fact, there's one common money problem that keeps the majority of people and businesses broke. And in this video, we're going to discuss it. I'm going to break it down and give you practical steps to fix it. So without further ado, man, let's jump right into it. Family, the number one rule that people and or businesses stay broke may not be what you think. It's not because of bad luck. It's not because people don't make enough. It's not because the economy or a certain person is in office. And it's also not the man keeping us down. It's spending our money without a plan. And this habit can show up in our lives in multiple ways, including impulse spending, lifestyle creep, and no budget, right? Not having a budget. Going back to impulse spending, this is when we buy things that we don't need, right? Because of sales, because of emotions, because of boredom, right? Because of keeping up with the Joneses, right? Or maybe social media has highlighted this one item or service that we don't necessarily need right now. Lifestyle creep, family. This is when you get a raise, right? You have more income, right, coming in, but then your expenses increase with that income. Oftentimes we see this in the form of upgrading our cars, right, when we don't necessarily need it. You know, you get an additional $500 to $1,000 per month. You know, you decide that 2015 Chevy Cruze in the driveway ain't good enough no more, even though it's running fine, right? You want to upgrade that. This happens a lot. And then also no budget, right? Not having a budget. If you don't have a budget, that means you're not telling your money where to go. And if you don't tell your money where to go, you will always wonder where it went. Family, without a plan, you'll feel like that money is slipping through your hands. And you feel that way because it is slipping through your hands. Spending without a plan isn't just about bad habits. It's about knowing how money works. You live paycheck to paycheck, which means you have no savings, which means you have no breathing room, right? And you're in constant stress. You have no opportunity to build wealth, right? If you're overspending or if you're only spending, you're not investing or saving for your future. And then also you rely heavily on credit and or other forms of debt. This is when, people borrow for emergencies because you don't have the financial cushion to cover it yourself. If this sounds familiar to you, it's time to break the cycle. The good news is there's a way to fix it. So let's take action. Here's how to take control of your money. The first step, guys, we're going to track our spending. Now, I created a whole video specifically on this topic, which you can go back to if you'd like. It's pretty extensive. But the way that we're going to track our spending is we're going to print out our previous 2 months of bank statements, right? Because we want to see what specifically we're spending our money on. We want to see what our habits are, right? Are we spending more money on groceries? Are we spending a lot of money on eating out, or a combination of the two? Are we spending too much on recreational activities, subscriptions, right? Printing those statements out will give us an overall outlook on, what's going on with our finances, where our money is going, and how we can use that in order to fulfill the next step. Step 2 is going to be to create a budget. We've talked about this, in several of the videos, but a budget is you being intentional with your money. Okay, it's you having a plan for your money, you telling your money where to go before it even gets to your account, right? So I've taught on this channel here about the zero-based budget. Did a video on that. It's pretty dope, which essentially means, everything that you have coming in is accounted for, right? So there should be nothing left over. And when I say it's accounted for, that means you've covered everything that you need to cover within that budget. That includes groceries, rent, utilities, savings, debt payoff, all of that, right? So if you want a further breakdown on that one, be sure to check out, my budgeting video. It was very, very extensive. Now, there's several different budgets that you can choose from. Again, I said, I typically recommend the zero-based budget, but I do understand that that's not successful for every single person, right? So you also have the 50-30-20 rule, right, as a budgeting type. And then there's also the no budget, right? I want you to look at your spending and use that, the way you spend your money, right? What your habits are, use that as a guideline to choose which budget would be best for you, right? Because ultimately, we want a budget that works for you. We want a budget that you'll be able to stick to, right? We want a budget that you'll be able to commit to long term, because we want to see the fruit from you being intentional with your money through creating that budget. The third step here is going to be to set clear financial goals, right? Now, this could be saving for emergencies, paying off debt, or even investing, right? So to give you a quick example, let's say our goal is to build our emergency fund, right? And we've divvied up the amount that we need for our emergency fund. And let's just say that amount is $12,000. Well, if that's one of the financial goals that we have, to ensure that we stay true, right? To ensure that we stay disciplined, to ensure that we stay locked in and committed on that financial goal, it's important to set milestones, right? So that we can celebrate those milestones as we approach our goal. And the reason that's important is because oftentimes our goal, the distance from where we're at now to our goal is so great that we lose the mental stamina that we need to have in order to, push through and get to our goal, right? So those checkpoints, right? Those milestones are they're essentially bases that we can stop on and celebrate each one, on the journey or on the path to our ultimate goal, right? So I'm gonna give you a quick example. Let's say the goal is to save $12,000 in an account for an emergency fund in the span of 1 year, right? Let's say this person gets paid twice a month, every 2 weeks. And, if the goal is 12,000, that's 12 months in the year, right? We know we need to break that 12,000 up into monthly amounts, right? So if the overall annual goal is 12,000, that means $1,000 a month over the span of 12 months will allow us to hit that goal. Well, if we know this person gets paid, twice a month, we can then break that monthly amount up to 500, right? So this person needs to put aside $500 per paycheck in order to reach that $12,000 goal, right? Now, that's just one of the simplest ways to do that. So a couple of milestones in between that would be, and you can do it however you want to do it. You can do it every $1,000. You can do it every quarter, right? So 2,500, 25, so on and so forth. But pick and choose your milestones and be sure that you take the time to celebrate them, right? Because, we need as many of the small wins as we can get, right? Stacking those will allow us to achieve our financial goals more consistently, right? Now, oftentimes people look at the overall number, right? Or they'll look at the overall time that it'll take. But what I typically tell people is to focus on becoming a person that does the thing daily that will equate over time to the goal, right? So if I'm this person that's looking to save $12,000 in the span of a year, I'm going to consistently tell myself, all right, I'm a person that puts $500 away per check into my savings account. And that's all I'm focusing on, right? I'm the person that puts away $500 per paycheck, right? I don't care about 12,000. Okay, I don't care about any other thing. I care about my near future. I care about what I can control right now, and what I can control right now, or at least every 2 weeks, is the $500 coming from my paycheck and going to that savings account, right? So let's focus on becoming the piece of you that you can contribute to the overall goal right now. If we can do that on a consistent basis, we'll look up, over the span of the time that we've set aside for that goal, and either hit it on our desired date, or oftentimes even hit it faster, right? Nevertheless, we get closer to that goal. The fourth step here, guys, is to use cash. Family, this is probably my favorite thing to do. This is probably my favorite thing to do because it's kind of like a challenge. It's a mental challenge. Everything is automated as far as my bills, as far as my savings account, which I'll talk about in the next step. But there are 5 line items in my budget that I pull out and pay with cash, right? And so for me, that's groceries. It's my miscellaneous fund. It's my eating out, right? There ain't no G there, eating, right? Because my family, we be eating, man. It's my giving fund. And then, of course, my gas, right? So those 5 accounts, I budget a specific amount, right? And what I'll do is I'll take, add up what I budgeted for these 5 accounts, and I'll withdraw that amount from my account at the beginning of each month. Okay, I'll then fill these envelopes up, and as the money gets low in these accounts, I know that once it's gone, it's gone. Right? So I'm not taking away from another account to add to, my grocery or my gas or my, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm being intentional, right? Which is another benefit of using cash. Listen, when you have a budget, right? It allows you to be intentional, right? And what comes with intentionality is creative thinking. Whatever you budgeted for, let's say groceries, you start to play mental gymnastics in order to find ways to fit. Let's say you budgeted $700 for groceries in order to make that stretch throughout the entire month. All right. So now I'm looking at, different recipes, right? I'm being more creative with the way that I shop for groceries, right? I'm splitting it up. I'm not being as wasteful, right? So instead of trying to shop once a month, right? Because that's a skill most people don't have. I definitely ain't got it. But instead of trying to shop once a month and including produce, I shop once a month for everything except produce, right? So, and then what I'll do is I'll leave a certain amount in my grocery fund so that I can go and get produce week to week, right? Because we don't want anything to go to waste, right? We want to contribute to our overall financial goals. And we can't do that by wasting money or wasting food or wasting anything. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be people of waste. All right. And then the 5th financial step here is going to be to automate your savings, automate your bills. You want to take all the guesswork out of managing your money. Family, set yourself up to not even put yourself in the emotional position to have to go and pay bills, right? Because oftentimes what I see is human emotion is a powerful thing. And sometimes we don't account for it as deeply as we should. So when you automate, you automate things like your rent, you automate things like your car note if you have one, your credit card payments, utilities, right? You ensure that all your bills are paid when you automate your savings, right? You ensure that all your bills are paid. You ensure that you have money going to your savings account. You can also automate your investing. You ensure that all that stuff is covered before you even put your hands on it. And that's important because, again, emotions step in, right? Maybe somebody, randomly invites you to Miami, right? For a trip or whatever, right? We don't want to let our emotions get in the way of our financial goals, right? Because that's what's most important. So automate. In 2025, you can automate just about anything, almost anything. So when you tell your money where to go, you stop wondering where it went. Now, this is a bonus step, but it's probably the most important. The mindset shift that it takes, right? Fixing your money habits isn't just about cutting back. It's about changing how you see your money, right? So, we want to look at money in the long term. We want to look at money through long-term lenses, right? So understanding that money is a tool, it's a tool, right? And we use it to grow God's kingdom, first and foremost. We use it to take care of our families. We use it to give generously, right, to our sisters and brothers who are in need, to grow our communities, right? Like we use money as a tool in those ways. We also delay our gratification, right? Because that delayed gratification is what leads to financial success, right? Small sacrifices today mean big rewards later on, right? And then lastly, guys, we invest in ourselves, okay? Learning more about money, about making smart financial moves will be the thing that sets you apart, right? So financial freedom starts with small daily decisions that you can literally start making today. So we've uncovered the number one money habit. keeping you broke, spending without a plan. But now you know how to fix it. You fix it through tracking your spending, creating a budget, setting financial goals, using cash to prevent overspending, and of course, automating your money. Man, listen, family, I want to hear from y'all. All right, what's one step that you're gonna take today in order to break this habit? Do me a favor, man. Drop a comment and let me know what that is for you individually. Right? I want to know. I want to be in the know, and I want to communicate with you guys. And also, family, listen, if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, form, or fashion, do me a favor and do your people a favor, man. Just share it out to 2 to 3 people. Like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the notifications so you don't ever miss a video. As always, I thank you for watching. This has been What They Didn't Teach Us. I'm out of here. See you next week. Peace.